going on, guys? San and Taylor here with Young Professionals of Conroe. Today we got Zak and Benny from Galindo's Barbershop. Today we're going to dive deep into Zak's life and the Galindo's empire. We're going to find out more about his business, his life, and what's in store for the future.
But before we do that, guys, San and I put this on for free. We bring in professionals to try to bring in some high value content for you guys. So if you feel like you've enjoyed this episode, like you felt like it brought you some value, some laughs, some smiles, go ahead and share this with a friend. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. We're here to do this for you and the community to give back as much as we possibly can. So without further ado, let's dive right into this.
Okay, so the type of look I'm going for, I'm gonna leave it in your hands, Zak. Let me get that Galindo.
I got you, man. I got you.
Benny, you know what I want. Let's do this. All right, guys, so we're doing something a little bit different today. We're actually getting our hair cut, and we're gonna let them show off what's so great about Galindo's Barbershop and the type of skill that they really have here, instead of just sitting in a studio. So I think this is pretty cool, and I'm really excited. San?
Yeah, I'm excited also. I'm like, hell yeah, free haircut, what?
Yeah!
Let's go. So, first, hey, I'm so happy to have you back on the show. This is totally different from where we were at. Last time we were in the studio, right?
Last time we were in a studio.
Now we're in his studio.
And now we're in his studio. They didn't have this location then. There's been a lot of growth since then.
A lot.
And that was about, that was maybe 10, 12 months ago.
Was it really?
Yeah.
So I want to say it was the beginning of 2021.
Because you came in with a beanie.
Yeah, it was in January. It was actually...
No, we got beanies.
No, it was right
We were
after
given
Jody.
beanies.
It was in January.
So it got to be the second week.
It was, yeah, I think it was the second week of January. So a little bit over a year since then, man.
Over a year. And what's happened since then, Zak?
A lot's happened, man. So our Conroe location has expanded. We were on the opposite side of where we're at now, next to Sugar Britches on 1488. So this is the location that's closest to 45. So we ended up outgrowing that spot really quickly. We ended up having our last chair that we added was actually right in front of the restroom, all the way in the back. And so we knew that, okay, it's time for us to expand. So we contacted the landlord and said, hey, you know, we're kind of maxed out where we're at right now. And so is there somewhere where we could potentially either knock a wall down and get a little bit more space, or is there another space that we could, you know, potentially take over? And so at the time, they only had this space that we're currently in now, which is 3 times the size of the space we were in before.
Right.
And so we needed extra room, but originally we're like, man, I don't know if we need that much room, especially just for a barbershop. And so the landlord, who has always been just awesome with us, anything we've ever needed, he's been amazing with us. So we're definitely blessed and lucky to be doing business with him. He proposed, you know, that we figure out, you know, how we can make it work in this space. And, you know, he'd figure out a way to make it to where it was worth it for us as well. So we worked out a really good deal. We had always wanted to incorporate a coffee shop or another complementary business into the barbershop. And Sophie, who is my wife now, that's something that changed since last time. We got married since last time. So we had always wanted to open up a coffee shop, and we had actually been looking at opening up a standalone entity as a coffee shop. And when we got this space, we were like, man, we already have, within this space, we have the extra space that we would need for a coffee shop. And I've always thought that coffee brings some of the similar features that a barbershop does. When you look at what a barbershop brings, like, yeah, we're doing haircuts, but we're bringing community, we're bringing people together. And when you look at what coffee does in coffee culture, it does a lot of the same things, where you share something with someone else and you build community and you bring people together. And so we thought that that was the perfect complement to what we were already doing. So we decided to put the coffee shop on one corner of the space, the barbershop on the other side. And then it left us with some additional space that allowed us to do another idea that we had. What happens in our industry is that we have barbers that are extremely talented. They come in, they build clientele, and they get to a point where it makes sense for them to maybe want to go somewhere else because they've just grown that much within our space. And so, you know, normally you would say, man, you're going to end up losing your people and they're going to leave. But what we found is that you know, a lot of people, they don't necessarily want to go and open up a shop and have all this overhead and have the responsibility of going and hiring barbers, because, you know, it's tough. And so what a lot of them would do is they would leave to go and open up a private studio, or they would go and rent a private studio. And since we had the additional space here, we figured, well, if instead of having them leave and go somewhere else, well, we can have a space for them that we can offer to them once they reach that point or that level. And so we created the barber studios next door. Now within the studios, we have my wife's business, which is Galindo Aesthetics, which is a spa that's tailored to skincare, facials, pretty much anything skin related, short of injections or lasers. And so we were already looking at relocating her space from a couple of months prior to that. And since we had the additional space, we just figured, all right, well, it's a perfect time for us to put everything together. And so what you see now is really a culmination of that. The barbershop, the spa, the studios, and the coffee shop.
You got 4 entities under this one.
Under one roof, and it all goes back to, you know, some of our core values, which is community and family, and really just keep on building that bigger community and sharing our passion, sharing what we do with everybody that we can, man. And so it's pretty cool to see it go from a vision to where it's at now. It's pretty surreal, and especially in such a short period of time, you know?
Yeah.
I see that you're always 4 steps ahead of the curve, you know what I mean? Where if your employees, if they outgrow themselves, some owner might say, you know what? If they outgrow themselves, just like my wife. She worked at a nail salon. She used to work at a nail salon. She built her clientele so big to where she outgrew the shop, but the shop didn't do anything to help her grow, you know, further, you know, to help her exceed in her what she was doing. What you see was, okay, your barber, they're good, but why do you need to leave? Why not give them a space of their own and let them grow here? You know what I mean? Just like you said, overhead and all these expenses, they might not be ready for that, right? So my wife went ahead and what she do? She rented a booth. Mm-hmm. Now, if they did what you did, they would never have lost her. And to those who work for you, you didn't lose them. They just outgrew their seat and went to a space where you still capitalize on.
Well, you know, I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I was to tell people, don't, you know, try to keep growing, right? Don't try to do what's best for you and what's in your interest, you know? Because that's essentially what I did when I opened up my shop. I left the shop that I was at because I got to a point where I was like, hey, I want to do my own thing and I want to take my clientele, you know, somewhere else that it just doesn't, based on what I had at the time, it just didn't fit the shop that I was in. And so I'd be a hypocrite to expect anyone to stay with us forever. Now, yeah, that'd be great, you know, for everyone to be with us forever, but it's not realistic. And everybody has their own ambitions. Everybody has their own dreams and goals that they want to do. And so, you know, for me, you know, if they can stay part of the family and we can continue to be a place that they feel that they can grow and that we can still provide value to them, then I want them staying with us as long as possible. But if it ever comes a point to where that's just not the case anymore, I still want what's in their best interest, even if it's not with us.
Yeah.
And you're still growing pretty rapidly right now because you're opening another location soon, right?
Yeah, so we have a 3rd location. We've actually had that lease for a while, but the construction in the strip center has taken longer than expected. But it's gonna be in the Creekside area, Kirkendall, just north of 99. And that's actually, they're building it right now. If you drive by there, you can see all the construction going on. It's looking to be ready beginning of next year. So that'll be another challenge for us, you know, because as you grow, you know, you have all these additional challenges that present themselves. Yeah. But, you know, that just speaks to our team, really, you know, because I can't be in this position by myself. I can't cut everybody's hair. I can't work 7 days a week. You know what I mean? And so that speaks a lot to our team for handling their business, you know, continuing to want to grow, continuing to want to better themselves, continuing to build their clientele and grow the brand. And, you know, none of this is possible without them, man.
But man, there's a lot of people that struggle to get to the point of growth that you're at. So for those people that are struggling just to grow past one location or just to make one location work, what are some tricks and tips that you've learned along the way to overcome some obstacles?
So I think a big switch in focus for me when I became a shop owner was that it wasn't about me any longer. It wasn't about me going and getting more clientele for myself. My focus changed to how can I uplift and how can I make everybody around me better? You know, because that's the only way that you can have true growth is by empowering the people that are on your team and letting them, if you have them in that position, letting them play that position to the fullest potential, you know? And the switch for me was more so, how can I help bring people to their chairs, not my chair, but to their chairs so that they can grow and they can build the clientele. And yeah, and in turn, yeah, it's gonna grow the shop as well, but it's gonna grow them at the same time. Yeah. And so, you know, when you have people on your team, you can do so much more when you have, you know, 15, 20 people than what you can do on your own. Yeah. And so I would say that that's one thing. Another thing is, you know, you have to keep growing yourself as a leader, and you have to see yourself as a leader. And there's times where, you know, you have to make tough decisions. There's times when you have to have difficult talks with people, you know, to either motivate them, inspire them, or tell them, hey, it's just not working out anymore. You know, our goals aren't aligned anymore. But really that, man, constantly just trying to better myself as a leader, because each step that we take to grow is going to require a different, better version of myself. And so I have to be committed to being that leader for them, because that's what they expect me to be. They expect me to be a leader. And so I can't expect them to grow and all that if I'm not taking that initiative on myself as well.
So we need to hear some testimony. So Ben, can you vouch for what he said? How long have you been with Zach?
I just hit a year on the 23rd, man.
When did you start?
Last year.
The 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
24th? It was the 26th today, right? 26th.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
My days roll together.
How's your journey been with Zach?
Man, it's been amazing. I mean, there's been the ups and then there's also been the downs.
We need to know though, you know, when you first started, how was it?
When I first started, man, I came right out of barber school when I came to this shop. So, man, I was nervous, man. I knew like it was a good shop to work at and everybody was obviously pretty skilled, you know? And I just had to hustle. I started out working 7 days a week as soon as I started, because I knew I got bills to pay, you know? I'm only 24.
Okay.
So
I know he looks 30, but yeah, he's only 24.
Zach, there's an elephant in the room for me.
Yes.
Where do the businesses bleed over between the partnership between you and Sophie? So for the barbershop, the coffee shop, aesthetics, and the studios, how does this partnership work, and how do you make it work?
So one, we're a good team just overall. So Sophie and I, we're a really good team. I think communication plays a big part, but just an understanding from the jump. Whenever we decided to open up different businesses, we laid it out clearly so that we didn't have any miscommunication, misunderstandings down the road. So the aesthetics part, she's the one that handles all that. I don't get involved unless she asks me for advice or she needs me to help out with something, but she's completely in charge of that. The barbershop, that's all me, and I go to her for advice, but she doesn't get involved unless I ask her for advice or I ask her to do something on my behalf. Now, some of the guys look at her as the boss, you know, but she's like, hey, I'm not the boss. Like, I'm here, but I'm not the boss. You know, I'm not involved with that. As far as the coffee shop,
She's the boss.
She's the boss.
She's the boss. There you go.
that's good mentality to have though. No, but the coffee shop, that's our baby, her and I. And so she handles a lot of the back end stuff. She's the creative mind behind all our menu items, the creative mind behind all the drinks, the recipes. I pretty much just handle the administrative stuff, and I'm the bad guy when I have to be the bad guy, right? So she's
But are you really the bad guy?
when I have to be, man. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like to. I cringe. I honestly cringe because it's not in my nature to not be liked.
So why do it?
Because you have to sometimes, man. And it's not about you being the bad guy, but it's about being firm. It's about being able to say, hey, these are the non-negotiables. And if we're operating outside of that, you have to put your foot down and say, hey, this is not what.
If you don't, what might happen?
Then what you don't want to happen is someone operating outside of the rules that are within the shop, because that permeates into everybody else, right? So one person gets away with one thing, like the saying, right? You give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile, right? And not just that, everyone else will take 2 miles when they see that. And so it's about maintaining order, because that's the only way that you can have accountability, and the only way that you can maintain that order is by holding people accountable. And there's times where you have to have tough conversations and say, hey, look, you've been slacking. You haven't been, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And, I have to have a talk with you now because we've tried other measures and things haven't changed. And so now we need to have this talk to make sure that we get back on track, or decide, hey, is this something that's just maybe just not working out anymore?
Yeah.
Benny, have you ever had a firm talk from Zach?
Yeah, actually got my first one a couple days ago.
And like I said, I don't like to, and I think...
But it's to look out for me, like
exactly.
Make me better.
I do it because, one, I have a personal relationship with pretty much everybody here at the shop, the coffee shop, in the studios. I literally have a personal relationship with everybody. And it's one of the toughest things to do, is to have to be firm. Because I hang out with Benny. Like we literally do stuff outside of the shop. And so it's a fine line that I have to walk as, hey, I'm the leader. I'm supposed to make sure everybody's being responsible, but then also somebody that we go and have beers with after work.
How do you keep that separate? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're on a personal level, but how do you keep that separate? Like, man, dude, like, why you gotta be like that, Like, business and personal.
Right, so for me, I think it's never easy, but what's worked for me, and I've found just through the years, doing different things, I think as long as you let people know that, hey, look, I respect you, and I'm coming to you out of respect, but we have to have this talk. I never try to yell at people. I never try to come off, like shouting orders, any of that stuff. I try to be as respectful as possible to always keep that. Because I feel like if you are able to have a tough talk, but still maintain that respect, then having talks or communicating later on down the road just becomes easier, right? But as long as you're keeping that mutual respect. And so I tell people all the time, like, and you can ask Benny, I've never yelled, I've never gotten offensive towards him or any of that. It's just, hey, look, man, we just need to have a talk, right? And, not everybody takes it, constructively. Some people, feelings do get hurt and all that, but I still try to maintain that, look, I'm coming to you out of respect, and I'm gonna be respectful to you. And so I just expect that in return.
Okay. Now, employees aside, the people that work for you, what about, how do you deal with your customers? How do you deal with customers' feedback, reviews, and if your employees being, their reviews, you know what I mean? Because they have their own personal reviews too. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that if they give you a bad review?
So unfortunately, you can't please everybody.
Okay.
And so there's always going to be at some point a review that you're not happy with, or where you drop the ball. It happens all the time. And so I look at it as, if it's your first time, that's an opportunity for me to coach and mentor on, okay, what went wrong and how do we keep this from happening? I'm not the type to fire someone because they got a bad review. Like, it happens. Everybody can have a bad day. We just make sure that we figure out what went wrong and how we're going to avoid it in the future. Now, if there's multiple bad reviews consistently, then that's a different kind of talk. Then on the customer side, I always reach out. I've always believed in customer service is the one thing that can set you apart, especially like if you get into a very competitive market. Customer service is the number one thing that can really differentiate you from everyone else. And so for me, I always reach out. Doesn't matter if they get back to me or not. I always reach out and try to, one, make things right with them, and then also just understand what we could have done better. And I always look at it, I try to come off as, hey, look, we're sorry we dropped the ball. What can we do? Whether I agree or not with what the review might be. Sometimes you're like, hey, this is a little excessive. But, that's customer service, right? The customer's always right.
Yeah.
And so you always try to make things right. And it doesn't always work, right? Sometimes they don't reply, or sometimes they say, hey, look, thanks, but I'll never visit y'all again. It happens. But I still try to do right by them with at least reaching out and trying to correct whatever was done wrong. Now I'm at a point where the managers handle that. And so, for example, Joe, I think she's cut y'all's hair before a few times, she's amazing at that. I mean, she'll, as soon as something comes in that's maybe negative, she'll reach out and, I mean, really try to figure out, okay, how can we make things right? What happened? How can we make sure that the customer comes back and visits us regardless of whatever happened? And so, you know, our managers share the same kind of passion and enthusiasm for customer service that I do. And so I'm definitely blessed to be able to have that. Because I know that's very hard to find in a lot of businesses, but they're all, you know, they all believe in the same thing, man. The customer service is the #1 thing that's gonna differentiate you, man.
Absolutely. Damn, Zach, there's so much to learn from you. So go ahead and let everybody know how they can come get a haircut, how to find you guys from all aspects. Tell them your social tags, your website.
You know what?
How to
I
find
think we
you.
skipped one thing too. The time that the last time he was on, he also have a mobile barbershop.
That's right,
Yeah, he has a mobile barbershop that travels.
He does.
Well, it doesn't travel no more, but he used to do the market.
Yeah, so it still travels. We actually ended up getting a permanent spot right now that we're trying out off of Fish Creek and McCaleb Road, just north of Wood Forest, where we were offered a lot that's out there. There's a couple of businesses over there, so we have it parked there during the week. Now we're still doing events. We actually have an event coming up July 2nd, first time that they do fireworks in downtown Conroe. So we'll be out there for that. And then we have a couple other events on the calendar. So we're still moving around, but since we had a spot that we could park it at during the week, that'll be kind of our home for the time being until we have other big events that will move it from there.
Man, there's so much growth, so many opportunities. Let everybody know how they can find you so they can keep up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So both shops are open 7 days a week. Our shops are located, the Conroe one is closest to 45 off of 1488. The Magnolia shop is on the other side of 1488. A lot of people always call the Conroe one and they say, is this the one on 1488? And I'm always like, well, they're both on 1488. This was just closer to 45. The Magnolia one's on the other side of 1488, just west of 2978. We have the title of highest rated barbershop in Montgomery County, and that's for both locations, and that just speaks to our team. So y'all come in and see Benny. Benny's there. The only day he's off is what, Wednesday?
Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday. He's there the rest of the time. He's there from open to close. We open as early as 8 in the morning and we close at 6 p.m. Open Sundays and Mondays. So even on the days when most other places are closed, we've got a team working. You can follow us on social media at Galindo's Barbershop, and that's the handle for all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram. We just started a TikTok that I'm starting to get familiar with.
You'll see Zach doing his dances on there.
Yeah, maybe. Now, I don't know if we'll go as viral as my boy right here, you know, a million views, but I'm trying.
What about the coffee shop?
So the coffee shop is open 7 days a week as well. We open as early as 7 in the morning and we close at 6 p.m. during the week, 4 o'clock on the weekends. You can follow us at Galindo's Coffee Co. Is our handle for Facebook, Instagram. You might catch us having a quick latte art throwdown, Sophie and I, if you come in and it's kind of slow. If you show up on Mondays at 10 o'clock, then you might catch our segment for Monday morning coffee talk.
That's right.
With some familiar faces from YPC.
That's right.
Whoa, I wonder who those guys would be.
So that's every Monday morning. And so if you see cameras, make sure to say hi. Don't be shy. Just wave.
Man, we appreciate you coming on once again with us. You know what I mean? Just it took us a while to get back into the groove with Young Professionals of Conroe, but now that we're back in, if you ever want to be a part of YPC, do anything with us, send us a message. And I mean, you can reach us at YPC936@gmail.com.
YPC936@gmail.com. And if you want to find any of our social tags, just type in YPC936. Everything will pull up on all social tags.
Other than that, any word of advice, Zach?
Man, I just want to say thank you to y'all, man, because you guys do a lot of stuff for the community that you guys don't have to do, but you guys still do it. Like, you guys put out content for other business owners, for people in the community, younger people. And, you know, I've always looked up to y'all for that, man, because it's something that comes out of y'all's heart, like, genuinely. And so, you know, whatever I can do to help out, man, we're always going to support you guys. Galindo's Barbershop, all the companies are always going to support you guys because we believe in what you guys are doing. And so really appreciate y'all having us on here. And if I didn't mention before, come and see my boy Benny at the Magnolia location.
There you go.
Make sure
Make
fill up
note.
his schedule.
Fill it up.
So Benny, what's your tag? How can he reach you?
Benny the Barber _98 on Instagram.
What's your phone number? You want to give that out?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, don't get him in trouble, man.
Hey, I have a girl, man.
Oh, we were just talking about girls.
Zach, Benny, thank you so much. Everybody, again, if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe.
Please follow them.
Please follow Galindo's on all platforms, from the barbershop to Aesthetics to the coffee shop. And please come Mondays at 10 a.m. to Galindo's Coffee for Monday morning coffee talks from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And be sure to stay tuned for our videos, our full-length videos with our guests every
often are we
other
dropping?
Thursday.
Every other Thursday?
Every other Thursday.
So guys, what we're doing now is different. We used to be in the studio. We're no longer going to be in the studio. We're actually we want to film at your location. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, share it, let us know, give us honest feedback. If this is what you like seeing out of the office and in your office, in your studio, where it may be, or in your business, let us know.
Guys, if you like the quality of this video, then please reach out to Hearsay Digital or Happy Lens Media. They're so gracious to help us put this together, and they do such a fantastic job. You won't be disappointed. They'll help you grow your business, and they'll really help shine that professional light and give you that special look.